today's video, I'm going to share with you a few useful things you can use when you're practicing this wonderful waltz by Chopin Opus 69 number 2. Let's get started. The first thing that I'm going to talk about is the thing that I'm least interested in, and that is tempo. From experience, I see that our students are all the time obsessed with what is written as tempo marking. I get it. We listen to music and we're inspired by that. And so in this case it says moderato, but in the score that I'm using it says also as a tempo marking, it says 152, which is vivace, which is much faster. And that brings me to a very important point. Perhaps you need to watch one of our videos recently that we shot about tempo indications. I think it was a video about the metronome. But anyway, this is something very, very interesting to look at. So moderato and 152 are very different concepts. The tempo I personally like with this piece is around 142, and that's the tempo I like. So I find 152 to be a little bit on the fast side for me. 142 seems something that suits me best. So that's something that probably you're going to be considering with time, the more you improve with the piece. Of course, you're going to start in a very slow tempo, but at the end you have to find a tempo that suits you, that you feel comfortable with. And that's my tempo. Now, keep in mind something very important considering this tempo. You don't want to play everything in one and the same tempo, because this waltz has a lot of rubato, has a lot of freedom. So when I play, if I keep 142, it's just going to be something really dull. You don't want to do that. You want to have a lot of freedom. So you can notice that I start and here also freedom. And with each bar, when there are 8 notes, I'm having a movement forward, accelerando, and that actually very often gets above 142, but then my slow parts are below 142. So the average speed that I love is 142, but in between, a lot happens in between. And so when you're considering also a tempo, watch out that you don't play in one and the same tempo, because it's going to sound very mechanical and not beautiful. The second thing you want to consider is pedaling. What I do the majority of time, I notice, is I have a pedal on the first beat, then on the last beat I change, and then I have a long pedal, one pedal for the whole bar, then change, and then on the last beat again. So basically in bar 1 I change on the last beat when I have long notes, like in bar 2, 4, also in bar 6 and 7, these bars. Here I have one pedal and then I start changing. So whenever, more or less, you can see that whenever I have 8th notes, I'm going to be changing more often, and when I have quarter notes or half notes, I'm going to let the pedal resonate for a whole bar, because that fits the piece. I don't get a blur from all the notes and it sounds clear. So that's something that you have to consider when you're playing the piece, how much pedal you're going to use. You want to have a certain clarity when you're playing Chopin. At the same time, you want to sound romantic enough. So look into the pedal. The third point is actually my favorite point to talk about, and that's phrasing. In this piece, what I consider not... Well, let's be positive today. What I consider really beautiful is to not phrase towards the first beat, like not towards this beat, but to actually withdraw the sound from the first beat to make it lighter. And then have the accent on the last beat, withdraw, and then have much more expression, and then again withdraw, because this creates a certain elegance while you're playing the piece. it gives elegance to the music, it gives a long line. The listener is going to enjoy much more the stream of the music instead of clear first beats. That's not the type of waltz where you want to do that. So the phrasing is going to be really important here in this piece, towards which note you're phrasing and your rubato, your freedom. Those are two things that are extremely important. Then just to add one important moment, I think one of the most important bars for the phrasing is to, like, the first will be 6 and 7 when we have. Then we go further. And this is very important moment. And you see how free I play here. Because I'm going to start after that, bring the piece back into tempo. So 6 and 7, if you look into those bars, and bars 13, 14 are sort of the little mountain tops of the first phrase of the piece. You need to really look into the structure in order to build it very, very nicely. Watch out, a little tip before I finish with the video, something very small, but it makes a difference. Watch out the change of chords. As you see, we have all the time the same chords in each bar, the same chord within one bar, I mean. Like in bar 1, it's going to be the F sharp, B and D. That's going to repeat. Then F sharp, C sharp, E. That's going to repeat. But if you look in bar 8, you get this. So the C sharp goes into A sharp. And the same is in bar 8, 9, 10, 11. In bar 11, it goes the other way around. A sharp to C sharp. So watch out that you're not, that you don't go into the flow of repeating the same chords. It's a small difference, but we need to respect what Chopin has written in the sheet music, and that makes the sound a little different. That's bar 8. When you have the, and then C sharp instead of, that's a different sound. So watch out with these little changes that he introduces. He does that from time to time, and it's a nice thing to notice and to pay attention to. These are the little things that I wanted to share with you to get you started with this wonderful piece. It's a very loved piece. You'll have a lot of pleasure playing it, a lot of pleasure working on it. It's fantastic. If you have any more questions about that first page, or any further in the piece, or any other piece, as always, don't hesitate to let us know down in the comments below. For me, as always, it was a great pleasure recording the video for you. Like, subscribe to our channel, and we will see you next week again.